Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Wednesday.
I'm the bear tickler.
He's the bear tickler, that's his name. Um,
Yeah,
and welcome,
I try to say it with a straight face, man.
welcome to another episode of Alphabet Soup.
Alphabet soup.
Yeah,
Alphabet
so
soup.
today we have something crazy in store. It's crazy. It's something crazy. We're doing our like musical hot takes.
Yeah, doing our musical hot takes. We got a couple of I'd say mine are ranging from
And they're raging hot takes.
like spicy to like lukewarm.
Hmm.
I don't know how hot these takes are. They're just kind of because for me, I just kind of view them as they're my opinion. I
So
haven't
true.
really had like apart from like you, I haven't had like crazy discourse with like I don't know like apart from like me like not liking most popular music right now. I don't know if that's like a hot take. I don't know. We'll
Uh,
see. I
I
guess.
guess we'll see. I think last episode I started with my ranking, so I think you start with your first hot take. And just to
Okay.
preface, in case anyone doesn't know, just a hot take is a little bit something like your opinion of this is a little outside of the curve. It's a little bit different. So if I said my hot take is that milk tastes better when it's 3 years out of date, that would be a hot take because most people wouldn't agree with that.
Do just to clarify, do you think that milk tastes better when it's 3 years out of date?
Can we just get on with the episode, please?
Of course. Well, I think I wanted to start off with this one because I feel like it's my most infamous, and we kind of alluded to it last episode. So I thought I'd want to like just kind of, well, just have a little chat about it from my perspective because this album was on your top albums of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about FK Twigs and You Sexua Baby. Our
Mm-hmm.
biggest, I will say, our biggest like difference in scores.
Yeah.
Please remind me of your score
I believe I
for
gave it
this
an
album.
89.
Yeah, and I'm over here at a 54. Really,
Thirty-five
like
difference. Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's quite a
big
few.
big
It's
difference
quite a
here.
few.
Like and like, well, in the time that we've been like listening to records together, we're usually pretty much in the same
Yeah.
sort of
Mm-hmm. Because
field
we did listen
here.
to this like on call at the same time. We'll do a
Hmm.
thing where we sit like this, and we'll talk about a track. We'll go on to the next one. We'll leave the call, and then we come back and we talk about the next
Yep.
one. Um,
Hmm.
and the Eusexia experience was quite something.
Yeah, it was well, what happened was, and I think I said this last episode, you started liking the tracks more and more,
Mm-hmm.
and I started liking them less and less. And it's hard for me to kind of talk about it without like obviously I've already talked about 24 Hour Dog and how I hate her like dog for you and then she starts doing a dog impression and I felt like that was like really tonally
Yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really like specific examples where I'm just like I feel like well, I said in my review, it just kind of reminds me of that like Family Guy meme of like Peter Griffin going like, "I didn't care for The Godfather. It insists upon
It's
itself."
just upon
That's what
itself.
it felt like to me. A lot of these like weird sonic choices. Like there was like some like I don't know, like the raging auto tune and some of the crazy synth patterns and some of like the Eastern influences that you really loved.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I
I
just
did.
thought were so out of place. It's almost like she was doing it just to do it and not actually to like benefit the music or benefit the message she was trying to portray. It was just like again, like you said last week, it's either you get it or you don't. I just didn't get it. And it was weird because at this point in time, this was the top album of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It had 10K ratings. How many ratings are we on now? Yeah, we're at 12K, which is huge for album of the year.
Yeah.
We're sitting at an 82 average user score,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm over here at 54.
Yes, you are.
I will say this though, it's not in the red. It's nearly there. It's a yellow, but there are songs in here that I enjoyed. The top song for me was "Girl Feels Good." I really enjoyed that track. The opener was pretty solid. "Perfect Stranger" was pretty good, and then it just tanks from here. "Drums of Death" I thought was just so empty apart from like they had like
Mm.
these crazy primal like thumping drums, and then just did nothing. I don't know. Obviously, childlike things.
Yep.
One of your favorite like songs of this year, I would say. I can't stand that song. I don't know.
Bum,
It's just
bum,
something
bum, 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 bum.
like one
It's great.
compliment I will say is that it's catchy, but is it catchy? It's like catchy in the same way like Baby Shark is catchy.
Jake, I've
Like
got
it's not like something.
supersonic powers that are polyphonic. Okay.
Yeah, it's just I don't mess with it. North and Northwest is also on this,
Yeah.
doing her like Japanese thing, like she did on Bomb on Vultures 2, which is
Also a
always
great
appreciated.
track.
Just really appreciated by
And
me. I
Bomb.
really love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and I don't know. There's just it's just a whole. It just felt so all over the place. I just can't really get into it, even though I know that it's really great. Like that's like my issue is unfortunately I can respect it as a piece because I know it's kind of out there and ballsy. But then on the other side, I'm just like, well, I don't enjoy it.
yeah. Well,
So
I
you know what I
will
mean?
say, I think you said there are a few things that felt out of place, and for me, the way
Mm.
that the album works is nothing's in place. Everything's out of place. It's not like oh
Yeah,
why did she just bark like a dog in that track and why'd she do this
yeah,
and that. But at some point, if you've got so many questions as to how like left field everything seems, you're gonna end up in the same field if you keep going left.
yeah. You're gonna end up in some sort
So
of field there.
I for as you say, for you you were like getting more out of it, and for me I was growing more into it because whilst the first two tracks may have felt incredibly abstract and it was a bit like okay, either this is going to go in the right direction or the wrong direction, the chaos was building for me, and I
Yeah,
enjoy when an album seems to have like a structure, and this was almost for me it was the perfect chaos for me because it both felt completely like what the hell's going on, but also still felt like there was that structure there in that there was what the hell's going on. It's not like there was one
yeah.
track where it was like, chaos and then the next track was just like a very normal, vocal track. It was like the whole thing was a barrage of music. And so
Mm.
when we're talking about like the like Egyptian sounds or like Middle Eastern music being thrown in there,
Yeah.
a song with Northwest on it, which brings me on to my hot take. Childlike Things is a masterpiece.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I was
I
I
love
was like
that
wondering
track.
where's
I
he
love
where's
that
he
track.
like I feel like if we were gonna transition somewhere. Yeah,
I
there you
love I
go.
love that
Child,
track. I really do. For me, it went higher and
a
higher because I didn't
masterpiece.
I didn't appreciate it enough. I didn't appreciate it
You
enough.
wait, so what's your score for that track right now then?
I bel
Currently my score is a 36.
yeah. So mine will
Did not
be.
enjoy that.
Let's have a. I clicked on. Jake, I clicked on the wrong thing.
You clicked on the wrong thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I kind of was expecting
Childlike
this
Things at a
to happen.
93,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna change that and give it a 95. It's one of those where I think it's so fun. I think it's so fun. I think it's so silly, and for that reason, it works. There's a lot of tracks where I think I bridge the gap between a song that's supposed to be fun and silly, and for that reason, I enjoy it, and then a song that appears silly when it wasn't supposed to. And I think the intention for me is really important because if I'm listening to it and going, "Oh my god, this is so fun! I'm having such a good time," versus like, "Why is this here?" I didn't have the why is this here for Childlike Things. I thought it was a fun thing to put in what has already been an incredibly chaotic album. And I think it's just one of those, for me at least, I mean, I think for the most part, it is like the lowest rated track in the album, but I viewed it as almost like a Marmite type track where either you think it's really fun or you think it's really stupid. And I think you thought it was really stupid and I thought it was really fun.
Yeah,
So,
I really do think it's stupid. But like I do agree with you. I think it's not just a Marmite song. I think it's a Marmite album.
yeah.
And I think, well, I'll just admit it. I'm on the wrong side of history here. Like the average user score is 84, and you have to scroll quite a bit on album of the year to find a negative review
They
of
are,
this
they are,
album.
they are
This is a
definitely
po-
there.
this This is a positive. They are there, but this is a positively rated album. So like, again, I say this almost with a heavy heart because I I want to like it, but I can't condition myself to like
It's
it.
true.
And like going to back to like what you were saying about like the intention of things, or apart like putting it against like something where it's like, well, it's just there to be there. For me, the biggest, again, I will keep saying it, 24 Hour Dog was so close to being just something gorgeous. And I just am put out every single time. It takes me out of that like, it's so annoying. This is the reason why I say it all the time. It's just annoying
I don't
that
know,
I was
man.
like so close
I
to
don't know, man.
liking it.
I just think when she barks, it spoke to me in a way that is the reason I gave it an 86.
Don't like that. But it does make me want to like have a look at her other things
Yeah,
um at some point, because these are all highly rated. They like all highly rated. She's got a mixtape that's at a
86
78.
is actually
Her,
the lowest of her albums.
yeah. So like for me it does make me wonder, hey, there might be something that does click for me if she is such a I don't want to use the word controversial artist, but just such a,
Abstract.
yeah, she's just, I'm me and I'm just doing me. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just kind of, it's kind of cool.
Okay.
But yeah, FK Twigs, Eusexia, unfortunately, I'm just not a fan. I'm
No.
just not a fan.
Okay. Do you want me to go on to a hot take right here?
Let's run it up, man.
Ooh, this is a good one. Um, Central C is an underrated artist.
Oh, I think I just gagged there. Just
Look,
an underrated
look.
artist.
So he is. I would say the general opinion
Central
of him.
C. Central C that we're talking about.
I would say the general opinion of him is that he is a hated artist, right? So I could both use the term for me either underrated because he's rated so lowly, or overhated because he's hated a lot. But
Yeah.
but when I listen to him spit some bars, okay, I can't stop my head from bopping. I think, look, I listened to his album, and like there was a part of me where I think sometimes we go into music and basing it on the name, we're like we have predispositions.
Yeah.
We've made assumptions already.
Yeah.
And so I was like thinking, oh, I'm like a professional reviewer. I can't listen to a Central C album and give it really good. So this is probably going to be really bad. And then I kind of enjoyed it. I couldn't lie and say that I didn't enjoy it. Can't Rush Greatness has a user score of 45. I gave it a 72. And for me, and for me, and for me, right? And for
Yeah.
me, there were
Yeah.
there was a good 3 track run in there. CRG, Limitless, and Now We're Strangers. Like there were some tracks where lyrically it was really nice, which I didn't expect because I expected it just to be like kind of,
Yeah.
well, I expected the
Well,
album to be bad, but I was like, I can't lie, I can't sit here and be like this sucks. I would listen to Central C when I was like 14, right? And so that's
yeah.
that kind of music where if you where when you're like 19, you're like, okay, this definitely sucks now, but it
Yeah.
didn't. And I can't sit here and be like Central C's a bad artist. So I'm gonna sit here.
So
He's
okay,
he's
for
underrated,
you,
man.
so for you, is it the album that's underrated or just him as a whole, as an artist?
I think both. I'm specifically
Wow.
referencing the album as a talking
Can't
point
can't
as to
rush.
why he
Was it?
is Can't Rush
Was it?
Greatness.
Can't. Well, you can't rush it.
Can't rush it really. Like it's gonna come when it wants to.
Central. Oh yeah, it's like it's C. It's CEE, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Central. Central C. Yeah, I'm just having a look at this. Oh wow, a beautiful cover, man. It's his first album. There you go. So a lot. Anything else? It's been
Oh,
mixtapes.
those
And
Sprint as
actually,
well.
this
I
is
think
his.
Sprint is a great track. But
That
and
is
then
his
the
highest.
Sprinter.
See, I don't think I will ever get into like this. Like, it's really funny because I'm kind of between the two of us. I'm more that
All right.
the hip hop guy. I want to listen to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this is really interesting because I will not touch drill. Like like there are very few times where I've enjoyed a drill song, specifically a UK drill song.
Mm.
Please show me where the quality is because I don't see it. But clearly, it's very different for you, and you enjoy it. So there you go.
Look, I'll give you one parting word. All right.
Oh, wow, that's great, man.
And that's one of
Um,
the reasons. That's why I like him. I like him. I
yeah,
like him. He's a lovely
yeah,
guy.
it's true. I'm gonna go on to
Yeah, go on
my
to
next
go on
one.
to your hot take.
Um, well, this is gonna be one where I don't know how much you can comment on this one. But I'm
Okay.
gonna say it in case there are any fans of this artist out there. Childish Gambino, I think his best album is Ada Vista by quite a far margin. And that was one that was kind of underrated and is currently his, well, apart from Camp, which is his clear worst album, is his like least reviewed. Um, Vista is currently sitting at a score of 72, and basically Ada Vista, for for your info, Michael, was an album that was released in 2024, but it was the reissue of an album that was called 31520 that released in 2020.
Right.
And basically 31520, well, it just had no it was an unfinished album. There was no track names, so all the track names were like 0.00,
Oh.
1238. It was like the time where it comes in the album. It's like
Mm.
the final song is like 53:49. And I
Okay.
think a lot of people, and it was just a completely white cover. And I think a lot of people just kind of, well, didn't tap in, and for good
Yeah.
reason. I mean, I gave the original album a 68 because I saw the potential. It's a solid album, but there was things that was holding it back. And this new reissue, there's different mixing here. He's taken out some songs, added some in from that era, and I don't know. I've given it a 92 because
Mm-hmm.
for me, it is just kind of an opus of just this weird sound that he's going for. And I think the reason why this is more of a hot take is because I have this album over Awaken My Love, which is his clear best record, which has um, Me and Your Mama, Redbone on it. There's some classics on here, and this is considered his like best album. And I actually just don't think it's as good as Atavista.
Listen,
I think Atavista,
I'm gonna comment on this, okay? Childish Gambino Hennis and Nasdaq.
yeah, that's
And that is about as high as my knowledge with Childish Gambino goes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For me personally, I think Atavista is his best project. To be fair, Awaken My Love is at an 88. This is at 92. We're splitting hairs here.
Mm.
But I thought I'd just say it because I feel like when you're looking at him as an artist,
Mm.
this project ranks quite low,
You think that project is
or
being
at least
underappreciated? You think you think it's
I,
not
I
getting the
do,
love that
I
it
do,
deserves?
because it's usually in the middle of things. Because like a lot of people really enjoy it because of the internet. I don't. I think it's quite cringe,
This
and I
is
think it's just
America.
that's a song by him. Yeah. Well done. Well done, man. Good job. I won't stay on this topic for much longer because obviously you can't comment on this. But yeah, Atavista, I think it is his best album. I think it is underappreciated, and I think it is kind of a blueprint because this was released in 2020. Obviously the reissue came 2024, and it got a little bit more acclaim. This almost feels like the blueprint for this century's modern album,
Yeah.
where it's got a lot of different things, and I think it really worked. I really do. It's like this neo soul experimental opus that I really enjoy.
I mean,
So
I
yeah,
will say, the first review I saw from Remy's Reviews, he's a big reviewer on the site. He gave it a 39. Mm. But the next
yikes,
two I see,
yikes.
87 and 85.
Yeah,
So,
it's just how it be. It's an interesting one.
it's just how
But
it
yeah,
be. Yeah.
Atavista for me.
Okay.
is by far Childish Gambino's best album. Your hot take, baby. Go.
Okay. This one's about my beloved Drake right here. I love Drake. I love him. So my take is Take Care and Nothing Was the Same are both very overrated, and Nothing Was the Same is the worst of his first like four projects. And it is just a really bad album. Now this one I've already been like I already had a comment on my review of Nothing Was the Same to be like, hey man, this ain't it. This ain't it. But I will stand on my post. It's by far for me the most inconsistent album. It has the
Wow.
highest highs and the lowest lows, and it was the most frustrating listen I've ever had. And I will stand by the fact that Drake is the most frustrating artist that I've ever had the displeasure of sitting down and listening to, because I don't know why he chooses or seems to choose to create masterpieces of songs. I mean, we've listened to some of his tracks that are just so good, and then he will just bury it in a bunker full of atom bombs, and not good atom bombs, bad ones, bad atom bombs,
Oh
because
wow.
like it's an unbelievably frustrating listen to Drake, and Nothing Was the Same for me encapsulated all of my predispositions about him as an artist, about how he can create good tracks, but he cannot create an album. He can't do it. I'm a person that holds it very like important that an album tells like a story, there's a journey, that there's a structure, that you got the timing right. All of his albums are too long, none of them have a story. You've got a few good tracks buried in amongst awful tracks and mid tracks that just get forgotten. So when I'm listening to it as an overall piece, I think people are getting blindsided by the top tracks, because there are always really top tracks. I'm not rating the big tracks really low. There are some that are really really high. I think we both have a Drake track that's a 100, but it's the rest of the tracks and some tracks in particular. Oof, oof, really bad. When I'm listening to a Drake album, the most enjoyable listen so far was I forget which one, but it was a mixtape. So it got leniency. It got leniency because it wasn't really meant to be enjoyed as a piece, as an overall production. But his albums, my god, dude, sucked. Great tracks in there, but Nothing Was the Same for me is at least I've listened to, we've probably listened to about like nearly half of his stuff now
Yeah.
from the start. That's been the worst because I couldn't stand
Really.
it. It was so
Wow.
frustrating. So like I want to bring up some of my ratings for Nothing Was the Same. I think this man, he's the kind of man where I'd pull him apart, I'd pull him to the side, and I'd say, hey, I just want to be honest with you, man. Retire.
Well, I think even Drake fans. Well, I don't know,
I
but
gave Furthest Thing an 84. I gave From Time a 95, which had a gorgeous feature with Jenny Aiko. Don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. And then it ended with Too Much, which I gave an 84, and then Pound Cake, Paris Morton Music 2, which I gave an 83. But I also, in the same track
um,
list, gave a 35 to Started From the Bottom, because, like,
started from the bottom now. Yeah.
awful track. There's just not a good listen at all. And it's
Yeah,
so
that one
bland.
really surprised me. That one really surprised me because I was like, that's a Drake classic right there.
Hmm.
And it's just so repetitive and just nothing
Unbelievably
happens.
bland and boring. And then
Started from the bottom now. Yeah.
Own It, I gave a
Crazy.
27. Don't remember that track, but it was bad. And then 305 to My City, I gave a 38. Those being in the same album as a
Yeah.
95. And I could also reference to the fact that I have a 51, a 58, a 55, and a 55. And then the rest of
Well,
them are
this is
like 70 or 60. So it's like the most inconsistent and the most frustrating, because you will listen to a really good track, but I can't enjoy it because before and after it was something awful.
yeah. This is the issue with that I have with Drake is it does feel like unfortunately even those really great tracks are just blindsided because of the shit tracks, and it makes me enjoy those great tracks, just a lot less.
Hmm.
And this is a really strange comparison, but there is a Coldplay album that I've told you about this, I think,
Oh
where it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
music. I think it's music of the spheres or something.
Color. What's it called?
Yeah, Coloratura. Because
Coloratura.
this album is really interesting because, well, it's just so shit. It's really bad. There's Selena Gomez on here, Jacob Collier on here, BTS is on here.
Oh, of course.
Um, and then it's just quite crap. So, uniquely just very crap and very boring. And you have Coloratura at the end, which is just incredible. It's like, well, I just kind of hate the song because like I
Yeah.
love it because it's amazing. It's an amazing feat of music, but it's just buried under all this crap. And it's
Hmm.
like, well, how? Where's the editing? Where's your kind of? You, I don't know. It's just where's quality control?
Yeah.
That's like my biggest thing with Drake and well that Coldplay album, where it's just like with Drake, you can have some really great obviously I'm quite a big Kendrick fan, so it's a kind of like very easy for me to say I hate everything that Drake does because I like Kendrick. But it's not true. It's not true because I really like some of Drake's songs. But then I have yet to really listen to a project thus far. We're up to nothing was the same. I've listened to For All the Dogs and some sexy songs for you as well, but up to nothing was the same. I can't say for certain that there has been a solid classic Drake album.
No, I
I
don't think
can't.
there has because there's been
Just being
classic
very
songs
objective.
in them, but as an album, it's just
It doesn't
completely lost.
work.
I'm gonna
It
give you
doesn't
some of
work.
the words that I used when listening to Nothing Was the Same. So I said frustrating, displeasure, chore, heartache, no direction, no consistency, unbearable, toughest listen yet, um, worst things my age have ever been put through, unbelievably
Ooh.
bland, uninspiring,
Ooh.
and sprinkled amongst a river of pure grade shit. And then I ended off saying fails, and I'm a Drake hater. And that's
Yeah.
because it was a passionate review, because I know he has the potential to release something that's really good, and it just feels
Yeah.
like he chooses not to. That's what it feels
Yeah.
like, because it's like
Yeah.
just give any other artist this, like, the peak that you have, and they will create something amazing, and yet you can't.
Yeah. I'm still awaiting the day that they're just like even like well for me I always say that an album's sweet spot is like a 9 to maybe 14 songs. Like there's very little albums for me that go above that threshold that I consider a great listen from start to from front to back. Like for me 40 minutes is kind of 35 to 40 minutes is like kind of perfect.
Hmm.
And Drake, I think most if not all his albums are hitting that hour
Yeah.
threshold, and it does just get really tiring really quickly.
Hmm.
Um, right,
All
we
right.
may as well move on.
Yep.
Um, I think in similar vein, and I think we'll both agree here. This it's a hot take, but like I don't want to feel like I'm copying somebody else's opinion. So I will just say I don't think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is like a perfect album. Don't think it's a masterpiece. Really don't. I know it's very easy for me as like a Fantano fan
Hmm.
to be like just copy his like 6 out of 10 because that's like a very notorious like he gave My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a 6. I don't agree that far. I think we're at a high seven, like high 70s. I think I gave it a 78.
Yeah, I give it
But
79.
there's a lot of issues with this album that I feel like just again, like what you were saying with Drake, where there's some really great songs. You almost are blinded by the other songs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like there's
Hmm.
a lot of well, I mean, Dark Fantasy, an incredible opener. Gorgeous, great. Power, great. Even I think up until All of the Lights,
Yeah, that's where I'm looking.
crazy,
That's where I drop.
crazy 5-track run. Monster, I just
Best
I
part about
used
that
to
is
like this
Nicki
song.
Minaj.
Yeah, well, Nicki Minaj has the crazy verse. Jay-Z has an awful verse, and then who else is on this song? I don't
Bon
know. I
Iver
think
and Rick
Oh
Ross.
yeah, yeah. Rick Ross does his thing as well, but it's like well, it's over 6 minutes, and even though I just don't like it. It's just very repetitive. Well,
Hmm.
I do like it. I gave it a 79. I don't know why I said I didn't like it, but it's just in terms of songs by Kanye and songs just in general, this was a it's kind of just it just flatlines a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you have a really like awesome Nicki verse. Rick Ross, it's fine. Jay-Z is probably one of his worst verses that I've ever heard. It's not good. And then Kanye does okay. But
Mm.
there's no like and then Bon Iver adds like that little intro, I think that's what he does. Um there's no like chorus or anything, it's just rapping. Um and it just kind of by like 3 minutes in, I'm checked out. It's
Yeah,
just a
this is
bit
what I'm gonna
eh.
say. Like the tracks are long, dude, and they're too long.
Long
They're too
tracks,
long.
long.
Like I still gave Runaway a 100 because it's Runaway. I just did, and I
Of
felt like
course,
I didn't want to rate it something else. It's nine
you
minutes
can't.
long, and sometimes, and like depending on the artist, a 9 minute track can make sense. It
Hmm.
just doesn't for a Kanye track for me. It just doesn't. And so he has Dark Fantasy's 5 minutes, Gorgeous is 6 minutes, Power's 5 minutes, All of the Lights 5 minutes, Monster 6 minutes, So Appalled 6 minutes, Devil in a New Dress 6 minutes, Runaway 9 minutes, Hell of a Life 5 minutes, Blame Game 8 minutes, Lost in the World 4 minutes, and then the outro's like a minute. But like
Yeah.
Blame Game being an 8 minute track, I remember just being like, why are we going
Oh,
on? Like let's play
blame
the
game, man.
blame game. I
I
just
love it. Yeah.
I just
Well,
didn't.
well,
I just did. That could have been a 2 minute track. It really could have, and then it was
it really
eight
could
minutes
have.
long. So that's what that album really
Well,
feels to me. Is the pacing is just completely off.
yeah. Well, this is what I will say is that like for me, by far the worst track here was So Appalled. I don't know. I like it's a similar track to Monster. Unfortunately, it's what's just crazy rapping 6 minute track, same beat.
Hmm.
It's right after Monster. So pacing wise, I think unfortunately, So Paul just kind of gets the short end of the stick here because I feel like as two songs, they're probably very similar.
Mm.
But because they're right after each other, it's like 12 minutes of like just two beats just being
Mm.
looped. And I'm just a little well, I'm just checked out at that point. I think Devil in New Dress does provide like I think it does fill out its runtime. I love the guitar solo. Runaway, it's 100 kind of just because it is.
Yeah,
I have my gripes with that track. I
me
think the
too.
last like 3 minutes don't need to be there with like Kanye like humming in like a guitar like tone where he's like
Hmm.
and he's just like kind of doing that. Like it doesn't
It's like,
need
what
to
are we
be
doing here,
there.
man? What are we doing here? You know?
It could have just been a trim 5 minutes and I would have been very happy. Hell of the Life, a lot of people hate. I kind of like it. I think it's kind of fun. Lost in the World's fine. But really for me, Blame Game is a big like it's not a very strong chorus from John Legend.
No.
The piano's fine. But it's the Chris Rock outro that really does it for me. Oh, it made me feel like just kind of uncomfortable, and also it was just so long. It was just so drawn out. It would have been kind of funny if it was like a minute
Yeah.
just at the end, but it's so long.
Yeah. I just think
Like
it's
it's like
another one of those
it's
albums.
like the whole Yeezy taught me. I'm
Yeah.
just a bit like
It's just another one of those
I
albums where
don't
I just
like
feel like the
this.
potential's so high, but then it just there's just a few things that could have very easily just not been there.
Yeah,
It's just unnecessary.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because this is like well, I do think Kanye has better albums. I do. And I don't really consider him the greatest album artist. He was one of my more favorite artists back in the day.
yeah.
But you know, as I grow as a human being, I start to see just like flaws in his bodies of work.
And as he grows,
Yeah, he's doing his own thing.
he's grown up.
Which
Yeah.
uh, um, but I will say this. Like I think it does deserve the praise it gets. That's what I will say because there are incredible songs on here, and I do get like at the time it released because I wasn't, you know, it was 2010, so I would have been 4 years old.
Yeah. Same.
Um, I wasn't there to experience it, and I think it was a little bit you had to be there because he
Yeah.
was like publicly shunned and the whole Taylor Swift stuff and everything. So I get that. As a listen today in the Big 25,
Yeah.
I cannot confidently tell you this is a great album,
Yeah.
or even just this is a classic album because it's not. It's not a perfect 10 from me. Um, and it will most likely just never will be. I've listened to better music. I've listened to better hip hop records. And unfortunately, although it's very iconic and very glamorous, it's kind of it overindulges,
Mm.
especially on like the track durations. That's what I will say. So yeah, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I have that as 70. Yeah, 76 is what I have that as.
Yeah.
So
No,
still a great album.
that is
It's still a positive score. Still a positive score, but it is not the classic that everyone makes it out to be.
okay.
And I'm not copying and pasting my opinion from Fantano
Mm.
because
Mm.
this was my own volition here.
Okay,
Michael.
I'm coming in with another great hot take, man. Another one that you're I feel are going to physically recoil at.
Ooh,
When I tell you that Dance Monkey is a really good song,
Dance Monkey?
oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take my hands, my dear, and place them both in mine. I like that. I really like that song.
I don't really know what to say.
It's really fun.
Dance
Look,
Monkey.
mm-hmm.
You're not playing this up for the camera. Like
No.
this is.
We briefly had this conversation like 2 days ago.
I thought you were joking.
I wasn't, no. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I don't like look if we're because I feel like people group tracks like Baby Shark and Dance Monkey, right? Those are just like two things, for example, that are like meme songs,
Absolutely.
right? But Baby Shark is a like kids like you do that to
And
learn.
and Dance Monkey isn't.
You don't use Dance Monkey to learn how to count to 10. You could see like Baby Shark coming up, and like Baby Shark do, and then it goes one shark, two shark, three shark. That's learning how to count, right? I already know how to do that. Okay, so I'm not gonna listen to Baby Shark. I'm not gonna listen to Baby Shark, but Dance Monkey. I always throughout all like people talking like this is the worst song of all time. I always was just like I think it's kind of fun. So if I was to rate it, I think I'd rate it like an 85 maybe something like
I, I'm in fucking shock. I don't even know what to say. The vocals are horrible. It is so grating and so annoying. Nothing works in that track. I don't even need to start to explain why Dance Monkey is just
that. Oh
horrible.
my God, I see the way you shine. Hold on, hear me out.
It's no. Don't say
Wait,
hold on.
wait. Take your hands, my dear, and place them both in like.
Oh, dude, have you listened to
No,
Welcome to the
there's a
Madhouse?
part of the track that I really like actually because he goes, "Oh, I see you every time." I love that part because really like it's just like it builds in, like it builds in.
Egregious take. Like
I like
I
that
am
song,
like
dude. Look,
I,
I'm a man who stands by his principles, okay? I'm not going to
yeah,
sit here and I'm not going to follow the curve. I'm straight.
I I I feel like this is kind of a take that back in the day people would like go to people's houses with like the torches and like evacuate you and burn you at the stake for. Like this is like
You think this is the kind of thing where people would suspect I'm a witch for saying
yeah,
that they testify I can float?
yeah. Yes,
I can float, by the way.
exactly.
I can float.
Trial by like water or whatever it is. Yeah, this like you need to be burned for this.
It's one. It's one. It's one. It's one.
So would you say like would you say like in terms of like when did that song release actually?
I'll find out.
Was it 2019 or 2020? Because I remember like 2020 you couldn't fucking you couldn't not hear that song.
May 2019.
Let's say just for the purpose of this argument that it blew up in 2020 because I wasn't listening to at least I wasn't aware of it in 2019.
Yeah.
2020, would you say that it's like one of the stronger songs of like this decade right now, like released?
No, No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, okay, okay,
No, I
okay.
wouldn't say that. I mean, I
Hey,
even
I had to ask.
I even rated Childlike Things like a 90. I've rated a
Okay.
95 now, but still, like, a 95 is not like you know that I have a list of my like all the songs that I've rated 100, and there's now over 7 hours of tracks that I think are perfect, that I
Mm.
think are just the best out there. So I'm not going to claim that
And
anything
Dance Monkey
below
is
like a
part of that.
100. No,
Dance Monkey. It's
I
7 hours of
I would
Dance
rate
Monkey.
Dance Monkey like mid to high 80s, because I think it's a great
I
track.
it,
I think it's really fun.
I genuinely feel like I need to throw up.
It's fun, dude. It's fun. I'ma stand on that molehill, and then I'm gonna turn into a mole.
Wow. Yeah. That was horrible. That was really bad.
Just
I don't
move
even
on,
know.
man.
I
Just move on, man.
well,
Just move
well the
on.
thing is that like
Go
my
away.
other two are just not as crazy now. So this that felt like the peak. We've hit the peak here. Um, I'm gonna move on to my favorite artist, Sir Paul
Lil
McCartney.
Wayne.
One of not little, yeah, Little Wayne. No, Paul McCartney. My favorite songwriter just ever. Um, I don't know if that's not a hot take. He's incredible. But I will say that I will hold him accountable. I think he hasn't written great songs. That there are like that in there. My take is that McCartney, the album, his first solo album after the Beatles, is just okay. It's just fine. It's not even that great. A lot of people enjoy that album. I really don't see it. I think it is just fine. It's just wallpaper music. It's kind of boring, and it's just nowhere near as great as Ram. Nowhere near as great as Ram. And I think, these two albums are put on the same level, if not sometimes McCartney higher. I've never understood that. I've never understood that. It well, let's just say this. McCartney, I think, is at right now is at 63 for me. I think that's being generous because it's Paul McCartney. Like, I do think this album
It's a
is
cool
just
album
fine.
cover. I like the album cover.
Very cool album cover. It's a very cool idea where he in every edition of the McCartney series. So he has McCartney, McCartney 2 and McCartney 3. He just plays all the instruments on the album. So it's everything on the album is recorded by him. So this was made at the same time as, I think it's either Let It Be or Abbey Road. It would have been Abbey Road. Um, but yeah, this was kind of made in secret from the other Beatles. And in the same press conference where he announced, well, it was announced that the Beatles were breaking up, he then announced also, "Hey, I have a new album," and it took him years to shake off the reputation that he was just the villain of the Beatles. Like, he broke up the Beatles
Mm.
because of that. And unfortunately, this album is just well, there's just nothing really going on.
Yeah, you
It
called it a
feels
muffin
very
burger, littered with
yeah. Well,
half-baked and rushed instrumentals.
yeah, well, it just a lot of it just felt very improvised, and usually I kind of enjoy that, but unfortunately, it just didn't evoke anything. The Lovely Linda is kind of cool, but it's like a minute long. It's just an improv thing of him like playing the guitar with the mic in his like mic up there, and like Linda walks in, and it's kind of cute. That would be something. He's doing a horrible Elvis impression. There will be something, and he goes, "Mama," and it's like, what?
What are
You're
we
Paul
doing here?
McCartney.
What are you doing?
Valentine's Day is, it's just it's not even Valentine's Day. It's Valentine Day. It's just an instrumental. A lot of these are just instrumentals. I saw that like Every Night was somebody's favorite Paul McCartney song. Never understood that. That's a weird one. I don't know. It's just kind of nothing. Uh, the standouts for me are Junk and Maybe I'm Amazed,
Yeah,
which
some
are
maybe I'm amazed.
incredible songs.
I mean, that's a
Oh, that's
100
one of
for
my
me.
favorite Paul McCartney songs. I think that's an incredible song. And if it was on Ram, I think my brain would explode. Like, that is an incredible song. Even Junk is really, really cool. Everything else, I just get rid of on this album. I just don't care. I just don't care.
Mm.
Um, a lot of it is just instrumentals that are just kind of boring. I don't really do much. The only one that I say is even worth anybody's time is probably Hot as Sun slash Glasses, maybe, for one of the instrumental tracks. Other than that, I'm just it's not that great. It's not that great.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel
Very
like
mixed bag.
you're coming from a good place here because you're you know you're I feel you're comparing it to what he's capable of. So to release an
Oh,
album like this,
Ram released a year later.
yeah,
Let's just say
to
that.
release something like this is you're like, well, people are like, oh, this is really nice, but it's like it may be like fine, and there may be some tracks that are nice, and there are some really highs, there are some really lows. But Paul
Yeah.
McCartney doing this, like that's where there's a problem. Like if I'm listening to like a Drake,
Yes.
I'm listening to a Drake album, it's like and I'm thinking this is okay for me. Then he's
Yep.
exceeding my expectations. But
Yep.
if I'm listening to a Radiohead album, and I'm going, this is okay. That's really bad for me for a Radiohead
That's
album.
bad.
So
That's
it's
bad
like
for a Radiohead album.
it's
Yeah.
going to be a negative review for an artist
Hmm.
if their expectation is so high to then like have
Hmm.
so many gripes with it. You can't then come out in a positive manner. You've got to say, I know what this guy's capable of,
No.
especially in the timeline where
Exactly.
come straight out of the Beatles, the album before Ram. How is this
Yep.
here? How is this such a different quality? So
Yeah, it's well, it's a shame really because like for Paul McCartney, a 72 is pretty solid for his solo career. It's pretty solid.
mm,
Um, and again, I will say like I watch a lot of like ranking videos, and this album is regarded as it's not up there, but
mm,
it's regarded higher than I would. I think it's given a lot more credit because it's Paul McCartney and a bit more
yeah,
leniency. It's not a good. It's just I don't want to say it's not a good album. It's just fine.
yeah, yeah.
it is just kind of middle of the road. It was just kind of boring. Maybe I'm Amazed blew my fucking socks off because that's an incredible track. There you go.
There he goes, and he's running away.
I'm kind of out of hot takes that I'm willing to share today.
All right,
Um,
I have two more, but well, okay. So I'll just
let's just go into it, man.
a Moon Shaped Pool is top two Radiohead albums.
I totally agree. I totally agree
Which
with this.
obviously, like, I think the general consensus is you have like most people say In Rainbows is the best, and then they'll
Hmm.
say like OK Computer, and then they'll say like Kid A, and then maybe, and then probably the Bends, and then probably Moon Shaped Pool. So that makes it like 5 out of 9. So most people have it in the bottom half of Radiohead albums. I mean, of course,
Crazy.
you're comparing like, you know, it's sort of slim margins all
It's
coming down.
I was gonna
But I
say
think
like even like rating it at like mid pack or bottom half, it's probably still just a great album. It's
mhm.
Radiohead.
but
It is very hard for them to miss.
but I think it's incredibly. I've really not seen very often at all that people are rating a Moonshaped Pool as high as I am, because I
Mm.
listened to every Radiohead album from start to finish in chronological order over the period of about like 6 weeks or something like that. So I was listening to like two a week for like 4 or 5 weeks, right? And I
Yeah.
got to the end of it, a Moonshaped Pool, and it was the most beautiful ending. It has one of the most heart wrenching tracks I've ever heard in my life, making it one of my favorite tracks ever.
Is
This
that True Love Waits?
mhm.
Yeah.
This album for me is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece, and it is absolutely up there. I say top. I wanted to say just like the best, but I can't because I do
It's the best.
disregard like OK Computer and they're on the same level. I mean, Shake Pool and OK
Yeah.
Computer for me. I can't prefer one or the other. But I guess the hot take would also be a Mood Shaped Pool is a better album than In Rainbows. Than In
In it
Rainbows.
than in Rainbows.
I think it has higher highs, which is kind of crazy. I think I think as a piece as a whole, it invoked a lot more emotion out of me than, I mean, it is regarded as their like saddest album, or their like
Yeah,
their most emotional
I
one, not
might
really portrayed for me.
I might have to hesitantly agree. Like just thinking about it, like I haven't listened to Radiohead in a while, but I I'm just like trying to like do it track list by track
Yeah,
list. I just adore the instrumentation on Moonshaped Pool much more than in Rainbows. I think in Rainbows is a bit more of like it's a bit more stripped back. And
yeah,
it's
it
an
almost
incredible
surprised me.
album.
I didn't think it was that like crazy is what I mean. Like I give it a
Mm.
98, but it wasn't as abstract as a lot of the other like Radiohead albums. Like
Yeah,
when you
it's
listen to
it's
something like
it's.
Kid A, you're like, oh my gosh, what the hell is going on? You know,
Mm,
and like OK Computer as well. It often has this it has this story that's
mm,
very out there and almost hard to follow.
mm.
But then I listened to like In Rainbows and I was a bit like, oh, this is kind of like laid back in a way. Like it still has like crazy high tracks and a good storyline and that. But like if you compare it to some of the other albums, it's not the craziest thing.
Yeah, I would say like, and I don't mean this in a like a way that means that the album's bad. It's a tame
Yes,
listen.
yeah, it's kind of hard to
That's
describe
what I
it
would
without it
say.
sounding
It,
bad, but
it, it
I definitely
feels it
agree.
feels a little just like, well, it's just what you come to expect. Um, I it's hard for me to kind of comment if I would put it. I don't know. I really like it at a time in my life. Um, Moonshaped Pool was definitely the highest regarded for me. My personal favorite.
Yeah.
Um, Eventually I will do a what you did where I just listen to their whole discography
Hmm.
because I think it's worth it, and then we could talk about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Moonshaped Pool for sure.
Yeah.
Incredible album.
And now, do you want
Yeah,
me to
you
go on
have
to
one more hot
my
take.
last take is Lil Wayne should be in prison. Or
I
just
just feel like you
somewhere
can't be saying. I feel like you can't be
somewhere
saying this, man.
so I almost said far worse. Just somewhere I want Lil Wayne to just be put like I was just thinking somewhere where he can't get a
But
microphone.
he might be a really nice guy.
No, dude, it's fine, but just keep the microphone away
It's
from
it's
him.
it's like his crimes against music. Is that what it is?
No, I want to put him in a place where he doesn't have access to a microphone.
Yeah, just like far away, like just
Far away from microphones. So you don't have to
he's
put
like
him in
he's
prison
put in like a
necessarily.
bunker.
Just ban him from microphones. That's fine. I haven't even listened to Carter 6, which has come out recently, and I have never listened to a solo thing, but it keeps being an ongoing theme that I'm listening to an album
His feature
and
game is not strong.
he features on a lot. He features on a lot, and he will come into an album and he will drain the soul out of me. He will drain my soul of all happiness.
Pause.
I I hate this man. I hate him. I hate him. So I will have a lot to say or nothing to say when we listen to Cut 6 because
Yeah,
ooh man, this guy is just I don't even have anything to compare it to. Yeah,
yeah,
my name is Lil Wayne and I like to ruin music. I hate the guy.
yeah. Like, yeah, he's a case of that. Like some people are like, well, this is my favorite rapper. I've never really understood it. I do like when Tyler the Creator and Lil Wayne feature. I think his only real miss in terms of that was maybe Sticky, which actually I think is a great song, and Lil
You
Wayne's
actually
verse
might
just
like it.
I really like Sticky. I really do. But I think Little Wayne's verse needed to be a bit longer, actually. They, there you go. Yeah, I really like his feature on Flower Boy and on Call Me If You Get Lost. I don't know. He's a
Oh, I don't
yeah,
like that man.
he's an interesting figure.
Don't like that man. So I think
Yeah.
that concludes mine and yours hot takes, right? I think that
Yeah, I
is.
think that does.
Hmm.
I think before we go, I wanted to like kind of do this
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
that's
thing where
right.
maybe each
Song of the
each
episode.
episode we could do like a song of the episode. Like me and you kind of we give a song, and then potentially we'll have like a Spotify and Apple Music playlist of just everything like when we have kind of episodes out.
And it's
Do
gonna
something
have
like
to
that.
be Dance Mike, I think. Is gonna have to be the song of the
Oh,
episode.
you kidding me, man?
Just imagine
Oh,
our
we're
like
never doing this again. We're
in
never
the
doing this
future a
again.
really long list of songs of the episode, and we're gonna do like a video of like Radiohead discography, and then our like song of the episode is gonna be like, in my
A
opinion,
Radiohead.
one of the best songs of all time, right? And we're gonna do this with like plenty of like great eyes, but at the very start of the playlist, Dance Monkey. And you
I
know it has
fucking
to be there
hate
now.
that.
You know it has to. Look, you're complaining, but
I I know
you
I
can't
know it
rebuttal
does.
because you know it's a good idea.
Well, I just have a very
Song
normal
of the
song.
episode, Dance Monkey, baby.
So Michael's song of the episode is Dance Monkey. Mine is, well, it's just been a song that I've been listening to a lot, which is Deacon Blues by Steely Dan. There you go. But who cares about that? Because now
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
Dance
yeah.
Monkey. We have Dance Monkey
You
on
guys
this.
can vote who has the best song of the episode, and let me tell you, you're gonna get whitewashed, man.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. Like a little competition to see, like, well, maybe not a competition, but like just a song that we've been looping a lot in terms of the episode, and then like maybe people could be like, yeah, Jake won this episode with his song of the episode.
Well, he didn't though, did he?
He didn't though. He didn't
No, he
though,
didn't.
because Dance Monkey's on it. Wow. Okay. Well, that's been our hot takes.
Yeah.
That's
I've been the country of Gimby. He's been Who have you been?
Oh, I see you're doing like the names. Yeah, so we keep on like changing names and trying to make each other laugh. So I said I was like, what I say? I was the bear tickler at the start
Yeah, you were the
of the
bear tickler.
episode.
Yeah, I was Wednesday.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Well, thank you very much. We've been Alphabet Soup,
Mm-hmm.
and we will see you next week for an episode.
See you next week in another episode.